UFC 326, Andy and Jim coming at you from Winning in the Shadows. Going to break down all the fights. We're going to go over our parlay buster, or woulda, coulda, shoulda. And we'll break down a lot of interesting fights, capped off with the BMF title, Holloway versus Oliveira. So we need to give a couple of winners from the 3-day pass last week, and we're actually going to give two of them because two guys were really, really close. I think it came down to 176 significant strikes. And Shane, you were the runner-up. You had 172. And Scott, our good friend Scott, this is about as good as it's going to get. He comes within two with 174. So excellent job, guys. I just need your wager talk usernames. You can put it in the Discord, but you guys are the big winners. This week's we got to go to the main event. We got to do the main event again. Most significant strikes for Oliveira and Holloway. So guess how many significant strikes are going to be in there? Put them in the comments section, and whoever gets closest is going to win a free 3-day pass. So, all right, Jim, let's start breaking it down. We're going to go to the first fight, Luke Fernandez and Rodolfo Bellato. And there's a theme that I have for tonight that I have not shared with you. So here is going to be the theme. Let me pull up Tapology, but the theme is going to be, and this applies to Rodolfo Bellato.
What would you say you do here?
My question. Because
That's a great clip. What a great clip.
So
a round of applause for Andy pulling out the Office Space. Beautiful.
We got quite a few fighters that, my question is, what would you say you do here? So Rodolfo Bellato, by the way, the single biggest bet in my entire life was Luke Fernandez over our boy Pergantino on Contender Series. I'm still on Luke Fernandez, but I mean, my biggest question again is, what does Bellato do? This is a guy who does get the knockout win against Pateria, but he got knocked down and almost slept in the first round. He's lucky to get a draw against Jimmy Crute. Paul Craig basically knocks him out with an up kick that gets rolled to a no contest, and then Navajo Sterling dog walks him. So what would you say you do here? We're big Luke Fernandez fans, and don't let this 6-0 record fool you. This guy is a, lack of a better word, gym rat, wrestling, grappling, you name it. He's done it. He's got a lot of amateur bouts. He's undefeated in grappling matches. This guy can do it all, man. He's the complete package. And he's one of these Contender Series guys that comes in, my opinion, completely UFC ready. I think he's going to start making noise from the very beginning. I think minus 230 is actually fairly generous on him. And I want to make sure I'm not like too emotionally invested in him because of how much money he made us on Contender Series, but I think he's the real deal, and I think he's going to be good from the very beginning. And I think no matter where this fight goes, he's just going to be better than Bellato. Bellato's chinny, he's slow, he can be controlled. I don't see the upside. I got Luke Fernandez, and to be honest, I don't think it's close.
I agree. We're not too high on Luke Fernandez because about 3 days ago when we were chatting about these fights, I was like, I don't know. Then you go and you do your work and your study. And yes, you're 100% right. He is a complete fighter. The 6-0 means absolutely nothing. This guy has grown up in combat sports as far as wrestling, jiu-jitsu, anything that he can get his hands on to be competitive. He's going to come in with the U.S. amateur background as well, which is going to help him in the wrestling. And the biggest thing with Bellato is just that he's way too damn slow. He's way too slow. The cardio's a problem. Looking back on it, if you run that Pateria fight back, I think he wins that fight 5 out of 10 times, which is
Agreed.
A horrible look. Absolutely horrible look. The Pateria that we've seen since has improved. I don't really think Bellato's improved. And I'm not even going to buy into this up kick from Paul Craig because it was a real weird reaction. I'm not going to accuse him of like dogging it because when you're knocked out and you come back too, you act very, very funny. It's a natural reaction to be like, oh my God, and spring back. But But I think Luke Fernandez absolutely dog walks this guy. I'm not worried about the cardio either. He's got decisions on his record. If you're out there competing in grappling, you know that you have good cardio. And really, I think it's just a case of Bellato is a guy that's not supposed to be here. Like you said, what do you do for us? What exactly is your job? Your job was supposed to be to end Paul Craig, and you couldn't even pull that off when Paul gave it to you on a silver platter. And then Navajo Sterling gets no pressure from you whatsoever, just a one-way dog walking. And Navajo Sterling can't finish a lunch. Luke Fernandez is a finisher. If he gets the opportunity, he's going to put hands together and hurt Bellato. So, yeah, Hernandez, one of my favorite parlay pieces, for sure going to be playing Fernandez by finish.
We move on to Gaston Bolanos and Zhongyong Lee. Gaston Bolanos. He loses to Quang Lee, and before that, he beats Ramius, but Ramius, I believe, didn't win a UFC fight, and just gets killed by Marcus McGee. I mean, Marcus McGee, made him look bad. I had just kind of forgotten about him, like Bolaños, and then he pops up. So I got to ask you, Jim.
What would you say you do here?
What does Bolaños do here?
Here's the reason why he's here. He gives the announcers an opportunity to talk about how he's got 3 spinning technique knockouts. Every single fight, they go on and on about Bolaños, and he has multiple spinning back fist and spinning elbow finishes on his record. What is the trendy move of the year? The spinning back fist and the spinning elbow. They're going to mention it on the walkout. They're going to mention it as soon as he throws it in the cage, and he's going to throw it. And the guy doesn't have cardio. He doesn't have a dominating wrestling ability. 8-5 is a bad record. This is a get this guy out of here and get Lee back on the right track. If you look at both of these guys, too, who makes the UFC more money? It's Lee. It's Lee. It's a better market. They need that market. And we liked Lee. He's had a couple hiccups recently, but he has a fundamental base. I forget which one of these Lee fights. As soon as he walked out, he had the single knee brace on, and we went, uh-oh. Might have been the Santos fight, I want to say. I can't remember, but that was a red flag. One of these 2 fights, he came in injured. I would expect him to be in healthy based off of the amount of time that he's had off. I think he's going to dog walk Fernandez to a decision. He could, Bolaños, he could hang in there for a decision. But Bolaños, when he gasses, God, does he really not show a lot of fight. So really, really hoping that Lee gets back on the right track here. He is definitely the side that I will be picking in this one.
Yeah, one of the things with Lee is, how can you beat him? Well, you can go toe-to-toe with Hyder Mill, who hits like a truck. Bolaños doesn't hit that hard. And then Daniel Santos learned his lesson in the first round, was taking this guy down. And Lee really didn't have an answer for that. So you say, okay, well, there's a path to victory, and Bolaños is worse on the ground than Lee is. I mean, this guy's a Muay Thai background. He's not taking anybody down. In fact, quite the opposite. Quang Lee takes him down and controls him and ends up, getting him submitted. So now I'm looking at a guy in Bolaños who's the Muay Thai just hasn't turned into an MMA fighter. I don't think his striking is all that good. So if your striking isn't all that good, then you have non-existent takedown, and you're going up against a better striker. Lee's just kind of the most obvious pick here in that one. So it'll be the pick here for both of us. Rafael Tobias and Deir Nurgozhay, going to you first. What's your take on this one?
So DR is probably one of the more fraudulent 10-2 fighters that we're going to see. His body of work since coming into the UFC has been just pathetic. And I don't say that embellishing. Go watch these 2 fights, and he's just in a different class. He's not built for you.
And not in a good way.
No, this isn't a class above. This is a class below for sure. The ground game defensively is a mess. He looks lost. That's the real problem that I see, is that when he gets in these wrestling exchanges, he makes really bad fundamental errors. Again, people talk about it. He's got a good head kick. Well, that's great. What does that help you when you can't stop a takedown? you end up in grappling situations. It doesn't matter about your head kick. And I don't see how this guy can make these big improvements at this point. He's no spring chicken. I just think he's really limited. He's a big body that they brought in expecting to perform, and he's underperformed. Now, Tobias, another big body, but this kid's young in the sport. Again, another guy, loves fighting, well rounded game, has a grappling advantage, multiple fights where he ends up in mount. And when this kid gets in mount, he is looking to mix it up. It is punching to submission. It's not just holding there. He's going to be very, very active if he gets on top of DR. So I think this is this kid's chance to shine, kind of like Fernandez in the first fight. They're bringing him in against a guy who they're clearly out on, and they're going to build this guy. They're going to build him up, and it's going to be Tobias. I think Tobias gets the finish. DR is not built for a long time at all. It's going to be fireworks. So give me Tobias by finish. I think it's a ground and pound of submission. If this gets to the ground, it is Tobias all day. So early takedown would be wonderful.
Yeah, Tobias only 22, and he's got more fights than DR, which is kind of interesting. I do worry about Tobias on Contender Series. I mean, the guy he fought was really terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not very fast, and obviously you're not going to be super fast in this division. But I was like, he's a little slow. He's a little plodding. He does hit hard. He's been knocked out once, but that's back in 2023. I remember, I believe he was 19 at the time.
Yeah, think about it, right?
Yeah. That's his one knockout. So I almost lean under in this one as opposed to taking Tobias. I think Tobias wins, but DR, he is going to throw and he is going to hit, and I believe DR is probably going to be the best striker he's faced. Tobias, I don't know a whole lot of these other guys. I watched the film, but I can't feel them. But I believe TR can hit pretty good. And the fact is, this guy is 22. So if it gets to the ground, which it should, because Tobias does have some submissions and ground and pounds, yes, Tobias all day. He's kind of one of those where he almost looks a little bit more at ease or in his natural element on the ground when you see him move. And
Great way of putting that.
Feet. Mm-hmm. So I'm with you. If this gets to the ground, he may only need one takedown, and this thing could be over with. When you watch D or give up the triangle or the Ezekiel choke, and then the Mora. DR is really easy to time on his takedowns and stuff. By the way, did Diego Lopez get rid of his tick? I didn't notice it as pronounced in the last one, because DR's got the same thing. But I was noticing it that I wonder if they've somehow gotten rid of it. But when those guys do it, to me, it just leaves. You're like, okay, now strike. As soon as you see this thumb move up, that's time to throw.
It's the same as the haircut theory. Like, as soon as you watch the guy moving his hair, like, well, that's the time to punch.
Shoot a takedown, something like that. So, but yeah, when DR does that, it's like, okay, here comes a takedown. Like, I'd shoot now. So. All right, we move to Sumudaerji versus Jesus Aguilar. Jim and I are actually going to monitor how many times we disagree on this card, because I think there's going to be a lot of them, and I think we start with this one right now. You're on Sumudaerji. Give me that dog money, Jesus Aguilar. I'll let you go first. What do you like about Sumudaerji?
So the physicals are the real problem for me in this fight. If I have to pick a fighter with heart and IQ, it's going to be Aguilar, but 9-inch reach disadvantage. Ooh, boy. I just feel like he's going to have to walk through hell for 2 rounds. Now, that is what Jesus Aguilar does. He walks through hell. So pre-fight is for sure a bet on Mudaerji from here. I think he's going to be up 2 rounds. The striking should be able to keep him at range, and I just haven't seen the wrestling from Aguilar to tell me that he's going to be able to get in on the hips, even with the poor takedown and poor wrestling defense from Sumudaerji. That being said, Sumudaerji not exactly crushing power. So, if this fight starts round 3 and Aguilar is down 2 rounds, that dog that's in him is going to be coming. So, to me, I have this circled as you bet Sue and you get ready to bet Aguilar, because you're probably going to get a great number after round 1. I would say that Sumudaerji wins round 1 pretty handily. 2 could be a little sketchy. But if Aguilar gets on the neck of Mundarji, it's a problem. The physical disadvantages, and this is what we always talk about with Jesus Aguilar, that is what would keep him back. Please put his brain and his heart in Jalen Turner. Like, can we just put
Randy
those guys together?
Brown.
Randy Brown. The guy would be unstoppable. John Jones in his prime would have been scared to death. But he's limited physically. So I don't know if it's enough to outshine in this fight. So I'm going to go with Mundarji as a pick.
I can't turn down plus 200 against a guy who's just constantly an underdog. I mean, one of his losses is to Tatsuro Taira, which is just kind of wild. Like, wait a minute, he fought Tatsuro Taira. And then, he lost to Rafael Esteban, but does what he's supposed to do against Shannon Ross. Close fight, a lot of grappling, a lot of wrestling on the ground against Bentonka, beats Nichols, the big underdog. Garul takes care of Garul and outworks him in the third round. That fight came down to the third round. And when I look at Sumudaerji, yeah, he's got all the tools, but this guy's beating Kevin Borjas and Mitch Raposo. I can't make him a minus 270 favorite. Loses to Johnson. Tim Elliott takes him down once, and that was it. Matt Schnell, I don't know what to make of this Matt Schnell fight. It turned out he was on a torn ACL. He had Matt Schnell out of there a million times and then still just, couldn't get it. I just think if Jesus Aguilar jumps up and grabs that Four Loco at Jump Gilly, I think Sumudaerji may not know how to get out of it or may not be able to weather the storm. And I think that's what Aguilar is just going to be weathering the storm the whole time. But who's going to have the spring, like, who jumped on whose back and got the neck? It's Jesus Aguilar. Who jumped Gilly and got the submission? I think that's always in the back pocket. So I'll be taking Jesus Aguilar plus 200 as official pick. So that's going to be fight number 1 that you and I disagree with.
It's a slam dunk live bet. If you want to just have nothing on it, and this is the one you got your finger over the trigger, I think this is an absolute slam dunk live bet. This breaking news: we will not have a bet on this fight going in.
Yeah, there's not going to be an official client play.
To me, it's circled as a live bet spot.
Cody Durden and Tumendemberel. Tumendemberel is coming off of. It's kind of weird. Goes to Road to UFC, loses a split to Carlos Fernandez, has some fights canceled, goes back to Road to UFC, and now here we are. And he's fighting our boy, Cody Durden. So, Jim, going to you first. What's your take on this fight?
Cody Durden is a curious case. I think we know what we're going to get from Cody at this point in his career. He's one of these fighters, and I'll compare it to Tony Ferguson. Now, before you flip, I'm not saying he was ever as good as Tony Ferguson in his prime. But when the bring the violence, bring the action fighter can't handle the violence and the action anymore, that's the situation that we have with Cody Durden. When he could give it as good as he could take it, he worked out fantastic. But he hasn't been able to take it for some time now. Really hasn't. His win is Matt Schnell, the retired Matt Schnell. We're going back to Jake Hadley, who's dropping fights in PFL right now. So the level of competition win-wise is an issue. Now, the losses, Alan Nascimento is an absolute freaking monster. So that was expected. Jose Ochoa, I don't know if that's a bad loss. I think it's a good one. Josh Van's the man, right? Bruno Silva, however, like we've seen the mythical power of Bruno Silva start to fade, not on the steroids. Bottom line is I don't want to go anywhere near Cody Durden. Shout out to Dan Levy, always informing the people. Mentioned that, he's very close with Cody Durden, and he thinks that Cody's going to win this fight and keep his career going. And if he doesn't win it, he mentioned the R word. This is a problem. This is somebody that's close to him, and I'm sure it's been kicked around. You can't do this forever, especially with losses like that. And are you really interested in fighting on the regionals at this point once you're in the UFC? He's a lot of other things business-wise going on around him. Very smart man with his money. So I wonder what the motivation factor is. We're either going to see the absolute best of Cody Durden, or we're going to see the man that is inching his way to retirement. Either way, why don't we just bet this fight not to go?
Yeah, there you
Like,
go.
is that just the way to go with this thing? I think it is. I don't want to have money on a road to UFC guy. Give me fight doesn't go under 2.5, and you find something to put with it. That's the best bet in this fight.
Yeah, Durden just comes out guns a blazing. He's going to win the first round. And if he gets the finish, good for him. Career goes on. But if he doesn't, he just gasses. And that's when his striking falls apart. His takedown defense becomes non-existent. And that's when what do people do when they get tired? What do you always say? They tap. And that's what he does. So I think I'm with you about fight doesn't go, because Durden potentially could get the knockout. This guy's had one shot in the UFC and he lost to Carlos Fernandez. So, is he an elite 9-1 fighter? No, of course not. But Cody Durden, Cody Durden at full strength is pretty good. Cody Durden with no energy is, a tap out waiting to happen. So I think fight to go is probably the best way. If ever there was a live bet on a card, this is it. Like,
Another good
you
one.
you hope Cody Durden looks great, doesn't quite get the finish, and the second you see him starting to huff and puff at the end of round one, you know what to do. It's a live bet going against him.
It's a great time to bring up what we've noticed this year. There are some things that we've penciled in, and when these fighters get close to a finish and it doesn't happen,
Oh man,
I
you're
mean,
right.
jump on the other guy. The adrenaline dump is real. The adrenaline dump handicap is real. If you go for a finish and you don't get it, it is very, very hard to recuperate from it. So I think it's a great thing to say with live betting, because Cody's going to be a nightmare in round one. He could get close, and if he doesn't get it, you are jumping on a great plus number against the opponent.
All right, Alberto Montes and Ricky Turcios. This doesn't apply to one of them, Jim. This is to both these guys.
What would you say you do here?
I mean, Alberto Montes, we'll start with this guy. Coming off of Contender Series, big win. Okay. Getting this. Oh, wait, that was 2024 Contender Series. Like, this guy, you know, he loses in 2021. This was such a weird fight that he lost. This guy, I mean, this is one of the weirdest ones. This Aaron Lukowski, the guy beat him and then proceeded to lose 4 straight. I watched that fight. It's really weird. Ira's in his face talking trash, and Montes is basically winning the first round, and then the guy comes out and throws a Hail Mary punch that lands in the second. Montes got his hand way low and just gets smoked. On one hand, you could go, okay, take some time off, and then he works it and gets 3 straight submission finishes. He is submission dependent. His striking is not that great. This Carlos Calderon and Contender Series. So Carlos Calderon understood the assignment. He came out in the first round and was like, "This Contender Series, it's better to lose an exciting fight than it is to win a really boring one." So he goes for it, man. And Montes does a great job of weathering the storm. Towards the end of the first round, Montes' boxing and striking gets going. Then he gets him down, gets the choke. But when Calderon's marching forward, Montes is fairly lost with the striking. Like, his boxing is serviceable, but not very good. So I love his submission game. If he gets this on the ground, yeah, it's Montes all day. Ricky Turcios isn't going to be fighting off some of these guys. This guy's submissions are legit. And on the other hand, you got Ricky Turcios here at 12-5, who, he disappears after the win against Natividad. Does the stupid thing of Raul Rosas, where was that the one where he like taunted him at the beginning and then tried to hit him right off the touch glove, promptly gets submitted. I thought this Bernardo Sopai was not a great look. I saw Bernardo Sopai take him down and, kind of control some time. I don't think Turcios is that good. He's going to be so much bigger. And Montes cannot wrestle. Like, when he gets on the ground and gets the submissions, it's not because he wrestled and shot a big takedown and got a double leg and Daniel Cormier would be so proud. He gets pushed up against the fence and he gets kind of taken down and ends up with these submissions. So I think Turcios is live, and that's a terrifying thought to say Ricky Turcios is live. But if Turcios stays out of the way of the submission, I can't give Montes the advantage. And boxing. I can't give Montes the advantage in size. I thought I was going to be in on Montes, and then the line moved towards Turcios, and I get the line move. It's dog or pass in this one. I thought I was going to be betting Montes. I am not. It's just an overall pass for me. What do you think?
I will absolutely hate myself if Ricky Turcios loses this fight and I don't bet against him and he gets to walk out of the front door scot-free without me making money on him. If this is a loss, this is probably the end of Ricky. Turcios in that Sopaj fight showed me everything I needed to know, is that this man has evolved absolutely 0% from the Ultimate Fighter. He's still out there. He still ducks his head off to the right constantly. His defense for striking is not to have a guard. It's to duck over and duck forward. His offensive wrestling is very contingent on cage grappling. It's not a blast double in the center. Maybe you'll get a single leg attempt here and there. But I think he's going to have a hard time getting to the legs of Alberto. The biggest thing is he constantly sticks his neck into danger. And that is the one position you cannot do against Montes. His choke series is fantastic. Now, if he four locos it and doesn't get it, we have a big problem. So I understand your concerns. I just cannot get the image of Ricky Turcios out of my mind. What does the UFC want? Do they want Ricky Turcios to get a W? Do they want Montes to get the W? Or is it just like our little clip and they're trying to figure out if they need to axe both these guys or just one of them? Montes not getting his shot, I have to believe that there's been work going on behind the scenes. So I can say that I know Ricky Turcios isn't better. Montes could be better. We don't know. But I know Ricky Turcios is the same guy. So I'm going to bet on what I know. And that's that Montes has been at least training leading up to this fight. Give me Montes. I think he's going to get the sub. I think Turcios is going to make some big mistakes and be reckless, and it's going to end up with Montes on his back or in an anaconda front choke. One of the two. So we'll go head-to-head on our second one of the night.
Jim with a complete drive-by on Ricky Turcios. I know he's not getting better. That thought crossed my mind too. Like, I'll give him this. He did have a couple of fights, not a couple. He was supposed to fight Robbie Ring and then Carlos Calderon.
That's telling for me too.
That he was supposed to fight Roberto Romero. Yeah. Well, no, Robbie Ring was supposed to be the Contender Series, and Robbie Ring got moved. So Carlos Calderon was like the replacement, but he was supposed to fight Roberto Romero. What's Roberto Romero up to these days? Oh yeah, that's right. Getting his ass whooped by David Onama and Timmy Kwamba. That's right.
Very telling to me that these are the two guys that they matched him up with when the UFC had their hands on him.
Yeah. I'm willing to lay off of this one. So all right, we move to Dante Johnson and Cody Brundage. Really quick turnaround time for Cody Brundage, and I have a feeling I know why that we have a quick turnaround for Cody Brundage. I've been playing that clip. What would you say you do here? So if you're Cody Brundage and we go through some of his, so he just gets his ass kicked by Cam Roaston. Loses a split to Eric McConico in just a terrible look. Malik beats him. He argues it, and it gets overturned. It literally gets the result overturned. Julian Marquez, he's basically dead to rights. Ref doesn't stop it. He hits Marquez a couple times, and then the ref decides to stop it then. Alexon getting his ass whooped. Back of the head. Oh, I'm dead. My life is over. No contest. Bo Nickel chokes him out. This Jacob Malkoon, ridiculous. I'll never forgive Mark Swift that. I've never seen a guy with more wins and draws and no contest there. All could have and probably should have been losses. So if you're doing all this and you're kind of going, okay, I'm not winning these fights anymore. What do you need to do to have the UFC keep you around? You got to be available and you got to take fights, and sometimes you got to take fights that you don't really want to take. But when they go, hey Cody, hey, it's Dana and it's Nick here. We got you on speaker. Listen, Dante Johnson is he fought in November and he really needs to get a fight. You know how we've kept you around all these years? What are you doing for UFC 326? If you're Cody, you can't really say no to these. Long story short, I think Dante Johnson kind of beats the shit out of him. Don't hit the back of the head, Dante. You showed that you can submit a bad fighter. You showed you can have power. And Cody Brundage, I think the upside that he once used to have is just completely gone. I don't know what he can do good. His strikes aren't that great. His wrestling and grappling have just gotten worse because he doesn't really use it. He's so busy looking for a way to get out of a fight. He hasn't fine-tuned his craft. It's Dante Johnson by murder in this one. What do you think?
Dante Johnson by murder. If we go to Cody, let's. This is why you don't just Tapology handicap. Let's talk about. We know his losses, right? So take that blue one out of there. That's an L. Take that no contest out of there. He was getting his ass kicked, and so that's another L. That's another red dot, right? The win against Marquez. That's over the retiring Marquez, who did not fight. I believe it. Right? Did he even have a fight after that? I think that was the.
I think he gave it a go.
Did he?
No, you're right.
That was
he
it. So he retired
that
after that, and that was a man on a 4-fight losing streak to end his career. And yes, he was getting the shit kicked out of him and found a way to spin it around. Zach Reese, it's a slam knockout. How many times have we seen these things over the years? That was the same. We had two of them on the same card. What a nightmare card that was. The Malkoun fight, that was a loss. You hammed it up. Thank you, Mark Smith. Shout out to Mark Smith. Hope the ACL recovery is going good. If you guys didn't know, Mark Smith's on the injury list. Before that, Tresean Gore and Dalcha. Deontay Johnson could beat all of these guys in one night. Like old school pride rules. Throw him out there and he'll smoke all of them. Don't let the 5'8" on Topology fool you for Johnson. He's bigger than that.
He's not 5'8". Why don't they fix that?
I'm 5'8". Johnson is not 5'8". Okay, absolutely stud of an athlete. All in on MMA too, which I absolutely love. It's not strength training going on. He's training in all facets of MMA. Love the fact that he dropped down in weight because I believe he fought up a weight class on Contender and still smoked a guy. He's just a monster, man. This kid has the sky is the limit. The only thing that could stop him when he steps up to better competition is his size, but it's not as dramatic. Like you said, just don't hit the back of the head, no eye pokes, and you're going to run through Cody Brundage. I think Deontay Johnson in 1 and 2 is probably a fantastic bet. I didn't even see what the lines are on it, but make it playable however you have to. Again, I will not let Cody Brundage walk out the door without me betting against him one more time.
Before we get to Cody Garbrandt and Long Xiao, we do have our 5% best bet that's up for this week. We got a 5% and 4% best bets, and Jim, you and I have already bet this 5% as if it's a max bet. So yes, we're in on this one. We suffered a lot. weird night on Saturday. We couldn't miss on live bets. We lost on Brandon Moreno.
4 in a row to start the card. We're on fire.
And we lose the big one when we had Edgar Chairez by finish, and that was as complacent as you'll ever see Edgar Chairez face. So bad showing. We move on to the next one, but live betting was really, really good for that one. So we want to get back to our winning ways on these big plays. So nice winning record in UFC over the last 6 months or so, but we need to step it up because the last 2 weeks have been less than stellar. So taking losses the last 2 events. So we'll get there. I feel pretty good about it. So 5% and 4% best bets are included. But again, we always say don't buy a pack, get a package. It's 7 days. I believe they're running 3 days they're running 6 days for the price of 3. So we have a big rugby play that's up. You get all of our NBA plays, NHL plays, any cricket that we have, golf. We have a big golf weekend. So jump on board, partner up. Let's make some money. Let's turn around our fortunes in here in MMA. So, all right, Cody Garbrandt and Long Xiao. I'm not playing the drop because I can make a case. What do these guys do here? But I'm guessing you're probably out on Cody Garbrandt at this point.
You're kind of wrong. I mean, I'm out on Cody Garbrandt, but is Long Xiao the one that
Okay.
is going to be there for it? Like the speed advantage is going to be Cody. I know Long Xiao's quick, but Cody's still fast. The big question for me is, can Long Xiao do the damage that's required to win this fight? Is he going to have knockout power in round 3? Because you're going to need knockout power. Like, Cody can win a decision if you don't touch his chin. The one place that he has been susceptible, more so now, older in his career, is leg kicks. They've been a big problem. I just don't know if Xiao is the one to do it. So, look, when a guy gets a sword tattooed across his eye, I'm not rushing to the window to bet on him. That's poor decision-making outside the cage. But I just don't know. You would think that I'd be like running to the window to fade another Cody and another guy that we think could be out the door. But the UFC loves Cody. He's not going anywhere. I think this is a chance for him to get right. But I ain't no sucker, man. We don't bet on fighters with bad chins. So I'm going to pick Long Xiao. All he's got to do is touch Cody's chin once. And this could be the end of it. It's a question if he's able to. Invest in the leg kicks early. If you see that happening, you're jumping on Long Xiao because it's going to limit the movement of Cody, and then we're going to see from there. But the competition level for Long Xiao is nowhere near what a prime Cody Garbrandt is. We're not seeing a prime Cody Garbrandt. So I'm very, very vexed on this fight as far as where we have to go with this. Is this another one where we just take fight doesn't go? Or is this going to be one of those clinical veteran lesson decisions? It's a very, very tough prediction for me.
I think this fight goes the distance. I like this fight to go the distance, and I like Cody in this one. I'm just not impressed with Long Xiao. The guy's 27 years old and has been in 37 fights. He started in 2016 and basically fought anybody who raised their hand and said, I'll fight. And then did the same thing in 2017. Now he slowed down, as he's become more of a professional here, but losing to Chang Ho Lee and Su Young Yu, and he gets the late finish against Quang Lee, but Quang Lee was kind of kicking his ass at that point. Long Xiao he gets in these firefights. They're exciting against other Asian fighters who also stand there and just go toe to toe and bang with him. But it's wild. It's not measured. I don't think he lands, but yeah, if you throw 300 strikes, you're going to land 100 of them. It doesn't mean it's a great game plan. And I just think Cody is going to be able to figure him out and get the timing down. Like, yeah, he lost to Raoni Barcelos and, Figueiredo. Those were predictable, but this is a massive step down. I don't think Xiao is very good. You said the leg kicks. I've watched Xiao try and throw leg kicks. They're awful. Mm-hmm. They're terrible. He throws them when he's not close enough. He doesn't extend his leg. He's got shorter legs anyway. I think Cody figures out the range. And I don't know. You got to go back to Kai Kara France in 2021 to see the last time he got knocked out. I'm wondering if this, Cody Garbrandt chin thing, I wonder if he's at least healed up a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying his chin's awesome, but is Xiao the guy to test it? I just don't think so. I think this could be kind of a little bit of a veteran performance. This Long Xiao, 37 fights by the time you're 27 and only fighting these Asian fighters. This feels like let's extend Cody Garbrandt's career type of fight. So if Cody's a dog, I'll absolutely take it, but I'd much more be interested in this fight to actually go the distance. I don't think Long Xiao's the guy to get him out of there. So
think about this. Is there a road to UFC fighter that you would take over Cody Garbrandt? It's a damn hard question. They're not that great. The proof is in the pudding.
Ray Cerrua, the guy, he's the wrestler.
Oh, Ray Cerrua, he's the road to UFC guy,
because
right?
Cody's wrestling sucks, and so does his ground game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think these strikers coming off of road to UFC are all that great, especially against somebody Cody that's been there and done all that. Yeah, Cody's not as fast as he used to be, but does he need to be in this one? I don't necessarily think so. So moving on to Gregory Rodrigues and Bruno Ferreira. Thanks guys for joining us. I have the flu. It turns out one of the side effects of having the flu is your eyes just constantly water. I learned that today. And I was like, why have I been crying I told Jim the last 46 years. But more importantly, why I've been crying the last 3 days. So if you notice my eyes watering constantly throughout the video, I'm not sad yet, but that's what's going on. But appreciate you guys joining us. Please hit the like button, helps us out. And again, post in the comments. First off, give us your best bets, your thoughts on some of these fights. And but also tell us how many significant strikes you think there's going to be total between both fighters in the main event. Whoever's closest with a free 3-day pass. So let's move on to Gregory Rodrigues and Bruno Ferreira, the rematch. What's your take on the rematch here? Do we see a repeat? Bruno Ferreira with the counter from hell, or does Gregory Rodrigues avenge the loss?
Hold on, I got to get into position here. Okay, good. I got to pray to the MMA gods, please. Right one of the most atrocious wrongs that we ever suffered. Please set the world right. Let Gregory Rodrigues get rid of Bruno Ferreira for us, please. I'm not a fan of Bruno Ferreira, and they've been giving him dog doo-doo opponents since he made it into the UFC. Okay, Phil Hawes, is he gone? He might be. Stoltzfus, I think he's gone. Petrosian, he gone. Jackson McVeigh, he bad. Marvin Vettori, he almost retired. So we're going on and on and on. Boy, thank God that it's Paul Acosta. Bruno Ferreira and Paul Acosta. There's 15 minutes of our lives we weren't going to be able to get back. We need Gregory Rodrigues to off this guy. We really do. I want to see Hobocop really get back into the winning column here. He's rattled off 2 in a row. He's proven that he can win a decision and fix the cardio issue. I just find it extremely hard to believe that he got knocked out by a jab. And that's just going to happen again. Win, lose, or draw. It was one of the weirdest knockouts that we've seen where you're like, how did this end? How did that do it? Go back and watch. How did it just happen to hit it at the right time? He was coming in, a lot of weight behind the punch. I think he writes this wrong. He's made a lot of improvements. And go back and watch that Ferreira against Vettori fight, and he's the same damn fighter that came off Contender Series. That's kind of the theme for me with this card, is who's made improvements and who hasn't. And Rodrigues is trying to shore up the holes in his game. Bruno Ferreira, still the same gas bag power puncher who has a judo background but never does anything with it. So, give me Gregory Rodrigues. He rights the wrong.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Rodrigues is a weird one, man. Like, you go back against Hermanson, he gets the win, and it's only 4 minutes 21 seconds round one, but his face is all mashed up. Roman Kopylov, he gets rocked in the first round, but then goes on. He's killing Jared Cannonier, and then he gets tired and gets knocked out in round 4. Christian Leroy Duncan, I thought that was a really impressive win.
Great win.
Great win. He gets win against Brad Tavares and Dennis Tululan coming off of them. But you're right. This one just is so bizarre. Bruno Ferreira. Even his winning against Chitty, that was the one where it cut him so deep you could see his artery.
Yeah.
So this was just a really, really strange career for Gregory Rodrigues. I'm with you. I'm not that impressed with Bruno Ferreira. It was a one-shot hitter quitter that stopped them. I think Rodrigues pushes him up against the fence, works the clinch, works the body. Ferreira's going to land some punches. Rodrigues is going to get damaged up, but in the end, I think Rodrigues, it kind of gets to him a little bit that he lost to this guy, and I think it would not surprise me in the slightest if he goes for broke on one of these sequences with the finish and eventually gets it. So I'm with you that Rodrigues will be the official pick. All right, move on to Drew Dober and Michael Johnson. Speaking of guys that don't wear punishment very well, Drew Dober in the next fight. I think we're going to head on this one in a little bit of a way. What do you think of this fight?
So this is going to be a striking fight. Why would there be wrestling? So you're going to give me 15 minutes of striking. Drew Dober gets the win his last fight against Kyle Propolic, who we know is not a UFC level fighter. In that W, he is lumped up, down, left, right, and center at the press conference
Yeah.
after talking about how he didn't know if he even wanted to do this anymore and he needed to see a win. And it was a lot of questions. I believe he had another baby before that fight. I was curious about, should I keep doing this or not? He's taking a ton of damage, man. Look where we're at. 43 professional fights for a guy that lives and breathes in chaos in fights. It's a lot of damage, and we knew that chin was going to come. But he didn't get out of that Kyle fight like scot-free. It was ugly. Michael Johnson, on the flip side, discovering power at his ripe old age. I don't know if I buy it. I don't know if there's some assistance involved in this or what. But Johnson is still a fantastic boxer. And there's been nothing in Johnson's chin that has made me say that it's dust as much as Dober's. He's been able to take shots. Now, when we look at this win over Zellhuber, well, yeah, we just saw what Zellhuber did, and it was the exact same thing, which is absolutely nothing, and got his ass kicked in a fight. And got wobbled. I don't know. I got a feeling that the best way to play this is just under. Either Drew Dober, it's going to become a firefight at some point. There will be exchanges. There will be fire. We have two guys with damaged chins who want to throw and want to make money and want to get a bonus. These guys are about the dollars at this point in their career. It ain't about titles. So they're going to go out there and put on a show. I think this fight not to go is probably the best bet that I have here. If I have to pick a side, I'm going to pick Michael Johnson just because I think he's cleaner on the feet. Dober, too much of a wild hooking fighter. Johnson throws really crisp, straight shots and has a great jab. I keep going back to that Torres knockout with Dober where he gets dropped, and it wasn't that flash knockout, but as soon as he got touched, he wasn't there. He just was gone, right? And we saw him hold on to an ankle, and his body just shut down and get pounded by Torres. Could be the same situation here against Johnson.
Yeah, I see. I have Michael Johnson by decision here. Here's the other thing about Dober in this Kyle Propolic fight. Round 3, Propolic gets hit with a really bad kick to the balls. Like,
Correct.
It was bad, and he used up most of the 5 minutes. And the fight starts, and Dober, say what you want, Dober did what he should do because he's a fighter, and that's what he gets paid to do. But it was no mercy, yes, sensei. And he just runs over and just starts wailing on Propolic, who is clearly not 100%. And Dober gets a finish. I finished him. And it's like, okay, Drew. But yeah, like Propolic was having success on the feet, which is wild. Torres kills him. Silva, they get the stoppage. Renato Moicano, he was winning that fight until he let Moicano take him down in the last round. Beats the plumber. So you got questionable win against Propolic and a win against a plumber. So Michael Johnson, I don't think he's high volume. He didn't knock out Zellhuber, and we just watched King Green knock out Zellhuber. It took him to round 2 to knock out a Zaitar, which is actually too long because a Zaitar gets knocked out in the first round. Can't finish Darius Flowers. Can't finish, Mark D. Casey. Okay, yeah, he lands against Alan Patrick, but I think he works him from distance, does the damage. Dober is going to lose rounds just because of how beat up his face is. So I got Michael Johnson to win, and I got this to go the distance. So you got the under. I got Michael Johnson in this one. So yeah, I don't think Dober hits as hard as he used to.
He doesn't.
I just haven't seen it.
No, he 100% doesn't. He's not the same fighter. We have to let it go. The legendary chin and legendary power is gone. It just is.
Yeah. Raul Rosas against Rob Font, boxer versus wrestler here. What? I'm just waiting for whenever the Raul Rosas has I'm going to be a striker in this fight. And it's just not going to go well for him. Is this it? If it's not, then Raul Rosas takes Font down and works him on the ground for a few rounds, and it's really boring. If it's on the feet, Rob Font puts on a boxing display and tunes him up from distance. I can't guess this fight. What do you think?
That's exactly what I'm terrified about, is that Rosas is going to come out and want to be a striker. We've seen the damn script too many times to ignore it. And it doesn't matter what they say in interviews. At some point, these guys all do it. They can't help themselves. Now, Rob Font's not the guy to do it against, but again, we've seen him do it against guys they shouldn't do it against. Like, why don't you become a striker when you're fighting a wrestler? Hey, Dana, book me a wrestler. I want to test my ground game. And then I'm come out and just strike with the guy for 3 rounds. Rob Font, veteran, but never met a takedown he didn't like. Always gets taken down. Always gets taken down. Every single fight gets taken down. What was it? Corey Sandhagen? Was he the one where... Was that where Corey hurt his arm?
Yeah, torn bicep. Didn't want to strike, so he just took him down.
Smoked him. Out-wrestled him with a torn bicep. Raul Rosas should wash Font on the ground. And the thing with Rosas is that he's not a baby anymore. 21 years old, starting to grow into his body. This guy's in a gym fighting and sparring with killers all day, every day. Loved what he did against Vince Morales. I thought it was a very mature fight. Recognizing when the finish is there or not there and just put a clinic on Morales. He's going to have to do the same thing against Font. I think Font's tough enough to stay out of the submission. Round 3 is going to be sketchy when it starts, but this should be Rosas. I'll go Rosas by decision.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think we'll know in the first round what we're going to get from him. Now, here's the thing. When you see these wrestlers that, as Jim says, a wrestler when he decides not to wrestler, they're normally a little bit farther in their career, and it's just like, God, this is just too hard to keep doing. So Rosas isn't there yet. He's in his early 20s. So, I mean, if you're betting on Rosas and he gets to take down early, okay, good. But man, if he doesn't, you're terrified. All right, Kyle Borralho and Reinier de Ridder. Both guys coming off a loss. Kyle Borralho to Imavov de Ridder in that really bad look against Brendan Allen here. Because of that, we got Kyle Borralho at minus 300. Interesting how you read this one. We've kind of been the Kyle Borralho whisperer. We've had a good read on basically all of his fights. Actually, I'll go first. Okay. I want no part of Kyle Borralho at minus 300 in this one. Reinier de Ridder, he comes in there and he looks terrible against Gerald Meerschaert, gets the miracle choke, gets a quick choke against Holland, gets a lucky that Bo Nickel does the I'm a wrestler, I'm not going to wrestle. Robert Whittaker, I think, is where he surprised us. Goes 5 rounds and has the cardio, has the striking, looks great. Brendan Allen just looks absolutely terrible, has to quit, and it comes out he's had neurovirus. So that was in October of 2025. I think he has said, listen, I'm 35. I need to get as many fights as possible in while I'm, still in my mid 30s. So, Jim, if you have this big winning streak in the UFC, and then you get neurovirus, which derails your career, and you say, well, I need to get as many fights as possible, but I'm coming off a neurovirus. My body has been through a lot of wear and tear, but I can't take a year off. In fact, I'm only going to take about 6 months off. And the UFC has gotten rid of USADA, and it's easier to take certain products to get back on your feet.
I love where you're going with this.
I think we may be really surprised at how good de Ridder looks coming into this fight, because he ain't got enough time left in his career to be taking a year off to heal up. And Kyle Borralho, here's the wrestler that is deciding not to wrestler. It worked against Jared Cannonier. It did not work against Nasruddin Imavov. I thought that was kind of a clinic by Imavov. It was very low volume. He's not a natural striker. It's gotten a lot better, but that's like, taking a monkey and it stops throwing its own shit at somebody. Like, see, it's getting better. It's like, well, yeah, but the bar was pretty low here. So, like, I don't know. Saying Kyle Borralho at minus 300 because his striking has gotten better against Renier de Ritter, who can hang on the ground, who's got those wicked knees towards the body. I just think the line is a little too short here, especially when it's only 3 rounds. This is not a 5-rounder where Borralho's, durability and cardio is going to be the big advantage of rounds 4 or 5. This is a sprint to the end of 3 rounds. This is way too close. The odds don't make any sense. And do not be surprised if you're like, holy shit, DeRitter looks 10 times as in shape as he did against Brendan Allen. There's a reason for that. Pick for me is DeRitter.
I love where you went there with the recovery. It's 100%. He's getting everything in his body. He will not let that happen again. He said today his number one asked question was, "Are you okay? And when are you moving up in weight?" That's the number one asked questions this week going in, because they're saying it's the weight cut, it's too much, he cuts too much weight. Watch these guys face off. Dritter's big.
He's
we
a big
forget
guy.
how big this guy is. He is bigger than Xiao. At this price, at 100% is DeRitter. Keep in mind that his stock has never been lower. If he doesn't quit on the stool and just gets his butt kicked in his last fight for 5 rounds, that's a big difference. To me, it's just fight goes the distance at minus 150.
That's a great.
It's
only minus
card.
150. Oh,
Yes.
You're right. That's the way to play it. Yes.
On
Who's
co-main
finishing
event on
who
a
in this
pay-per-view,
fight?
Way too much at stake. Way too much at stake to take any risk. And we've seen Xiao take, 0 risks in 3 fights? He's become a risk-adverse fighter. He's subscribed to that. I'm just going to become undeniable by winning, not being exciting. So, fight goes the distance. That's the best bet. But, yeah, you are not betting Xiao at this number in a co-main event spot. Would you say that DeRitter's the best grappler that Xiao's fought? Go down Xiao's list here.
It's not Mikey O. It's not
a Boost.
It's not Abus. It's not Petrosian.
Definitely not
Paul
Paul Craig.
It ain't Jared Cannonier. You could argue it might be Imavov.
That's true.
Kind of weird.
That's true.
But
you could.
Go back to this Mikey O fight. You remember what he said to Daniel Cormier, the post-fight interview? DC, I got the best double leg takedown in the sport. Haven't seen it since.
Haven't used
Where's
it
that
since.
big explosion that made me fall in love with him? I've understood Xiao's career path, but I haven't really enjoyed it because his striking's gotten better, but it's certainly not exciting. You're right. Fight goes the distance. That's the way to play it. Why you fiddle fucking around with?
You bet a side in this fight. I'll tell you right now, this fight sucks. At the end of this fight, we're going to go, this fight sucks. What a co-main event the UFC gave us on a pay-per-view. That's the same.
We're going to be sitting there going, why didn't they give us Dante Johnson Brundage? Why didn't they give us Luke Fernandez Bellato as the co-main? Why did they put these 2 bums in there? So you're right. I overlooked that one completely forgot about that.
The other angle is when you have 2 guys that have been fighting in 5-round fights, and they have been, it's very tough to transition back to a 3-round fight. When you almost take too much energy, you save too much. So if that's it, just lends to the over. You get both guys who aren't that tired in round 3 in a close fight. They're going to play to the over. They're going to play the decision.
All right, we'll move on to the main event for the BMF title. Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. I would just tell you, I absolutely love the concept of the BMF title. I just think they're doing it kind of wrong. Here would be my suggestion for how to do the BMF title, because there's lots of divisions that would love to have a shot at it. I think you have the BMF title and you have that fight. So it would have been Holloway Gagey, right? We'll just say that one. Whoever wins it, congratulations. Your name goes on the winners of the BMF. But the belt is you get the belt until the next fight, and it could be a different division. It can be a women's fight.
Yeah.
If we have those, but I don't think a person fights twice for the BMF. I think it moves around, and you just end up with a list of BMF winners. But here's the key: It has to be finish.
Love
If
it.
you don't get the finish, your name does not go on the BMFs. It's like how we do our contender series BMF. You better put on quite the show. So that would be how I would do BMF. But who am I to tell them how to do? I just think it'd be fun to have. Okay, Holloway knocked out Gagey right at the very end. He's BMF, goes in the Hall of Fame. Who's next? Oh, Flyweight's got a grudge. All right, you guys are fighting for it. All right, so, but we go to Holloway, Charles Oliveira. It's an Oliveira fight, so I'm assuming you're looking at unders. This has been a recipe for you.
Yeah, I'm staring at the 3.5. But I got to admit, I'm a little scared off it a little bit. We go back to these BMF fights. Let's go down the list here real quick. So you have Holloway Gaethje, which at first glance you're like, oh, it's a finish. Well, that fight was a dead over until they decided to both stand in the middle of the cage and point down and sling heavies.
You know what? I don't mean to cut you up, but you're right.
Okay.
Up until that point, it was just a boxing from range Holloway clinic.
Yeah, it was the Holloway fight where we're just gonna pitter patter. He landed a good spinning back kick to Justin that hurt him, but it was never in danger of ending. After that decision against Poirier, like Ilya gets him out of there.
Ilya
Chan
gets
Sung
everyone out of
Jung.
there.
Do we remember the underlying thing in that fight? That was where the knee sleeve started when we saw him come walking out in a retirement with the whole place singing "Zombie," and
And Max Holloway begging the ref to stop it before he
he's
hit
like,
him
"Come on,
again.
enough." Yeah, exactly. Before that decision, so yeah, Holloway, bad sumbitch. Okay, the man, love him. Charles Oliveira, big time on the unders. But we've seen Charles go to decision as well recently. He goes to decision with Chandler, of all people. This fight stinks to me. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be fun. I think it goes to decision. I think this could hurt a lot of people betting on this fight. And honestly, what we've seen with these main events this year, I don't want a ton of money on the main event by any means. I don't have a strong opinion. For me, it's Holloway. What's Holloway by decision? Go ahead. You do your thoughts on this. I just want to look up and see what Holloway is by decision.
Well, so Holloway by decision is plus 200. That's a $4.30 difference from just the money line. Mm-hmm. So
I know it's a Charles fight, and you always want to go unders, but if
yeah,
you're gonna make me bet the main event, I'm going to take plus money. These main events have been strange. For sure.
Sorry, as I hack my way through these final fights. Well, it's you bring up an interesting point because let's take a look at how do Oliveira fights go under. Okay, Garbrandt, he was just way bigger than Garbrandt was on his back foot, gets him to the ground, subs him. Topuria, a striker, gets him out of there. But Beneil Dariush, shell of himself. By the way, backing up the. I've just applied to multiple pizza delivery places here, saving up money for the Beneil Dariush, Manuel Torres. Is that fight still on, or has cooler heads prevailed in the Dariush camp? Yep, April 11th. Manuel Torres is fighting. I still can't believe I can't believe they made that fight.
Well, we gotta get it under 3,000. Minus 3,000.
Yeah.
Gotta get it under that.
I'll take it. I'll take a minus 3,000. That's fine. Islam Makhachev, he gets choked out. So, when he gets finished, it's by guys like Makhachev and Topuria, like the best of the best of the best. So, lost against Sarukian in a roll around and, elite grappling match, he doesn't lose a whole lot. So it's kind of hard to say, well, who's the equivalent of a Holloway? I don't think it's Topuria. Topuria is just KO power. Max is elite boxing from range, and I don't think there's a really good comp from it. I would just tell you, after last week and the previous week, I am just concentrating on the undercards when I'm betting my money. Mm-hmm. Like, I know it's fun trying to predict the winner of the main event, and that's fine for clicks and it's fine for video. But my bankroll is about my future. And when I'm looking at where's the best angles, it's on the undercards. It's fading guys like Rodolfo Bellato and some of these other guys. I learned that last week. We made so much money in the first 4 fights of the night. So that's just being honest with you guys. That's where my money's going to be at moving forward until further notice. Don't be surprised if on the live show I kick back and I relax on the main card, because I love your call on the Borralho de Ritter. Who's taking chances in that fight? None of them. Nobody's taking chances.
You are
in that
betting
fight.
on it. That's the biggest chance it's going to happen. Is trying to pick a side in that fight. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll pick Holloway, but am I betting it? Hell no. So, all right, Parlay Buster and Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. Let's do the Parlay Buster first. This is a bet or a fight that you think everyone's going to make, and we're here to say, be careful. I think it's going to bust everybody's parlays. Interesting ones on this one.
There's 2 clear-cut favorites for me, and I'm gonna guess yours right out the gate, and then you can give the breakdown if I'm right.
Okay.
You're going with Sumudaerji.
No, actually, I wasn't.
Okay.
No, you and I may have landed on the same one. What do you think?
I think it's Xiao.
Oh, that's a great one. Okay,
Yeah, it's Xiao.
Okay.
Main card fight, co-main, tied to everything. Big favorite. It's got all the making of it.
I will just take a stab that Raul Rosas wants to show off his striking chops.
Don't put that evil out into the world. No. Wait, gambling gods, please. It's me again.
Everyone's excited to go chee-wee-wee-wee, and instead we're going, oh, God, shoot a takedown for the love of Christ. So the other thing I can see is he tries off his striking chops in the first round. It doesn't go well, and now he's tired. So he does try and get takedowns, except Rob Font just stands up before he can get the body triangle, and he gets a little tired. So I'll take a stab at Raul Rosas.
Wow.
Wants to work some striking on this one. But all right, woulda, coulda, shoulda. What's the bet that at the end of the night we're gonna be like, gosh, dang it, we didn't make enough money on that one? You got a good one?
Yeah, it's gonna be go up for me, please. It's going to be Montes. You skipped him for me. There you go. It's gonna be Montes by submission over Turcios. Just like in the first minute, Ricky shoots a shit takedown. You see, you watch in slow motion the anaconda choke get put on, and just go, oh no, like it's over before the choke's even in, kind of deal. And Ricky rides off into the sunset without me making money on him. So if he wins, I think it's gonna be by sub. Yeah, I'll hate myself.
Let's see. I'll go with, it's got to be a fight that we didn't make enough money off of. I'll just take a stab at, what if I've seen a lot of support for Bruno Ferreira this week. Mm-hmm. So what if Gregory Rodrigues, we're like, well, of course it was Gregory Rodrigues. First fight on the main card, they want violence. He got knocked out by Bruno Ferreira last time, and Bruno Ferreira's beating guys like the Washed, Marvin Vittori, and then all of a sudden we realize that Gregory Rodrigues is bigger and stronger and better in the clinch, and we're like, of course it was always going to be Gregory Rodrigues. So I'll go with that one as my pick. So
that's a good one.
All right, guys, thanks very much. That's going to do it for us. We will be live on Saturday for UFC 326. Hopefully it's a really, really good start to the card like we had last time. We got 5% and 4% best bets over at Wager Talk. Again, post a comment. Leave us how many significant strikes you think there will be in the main event total between Holloway and Oliveira. Whoever's closest gets a free 3-day pass. Shane and Scott, I need you to reach out in Discord and DM me your Wager Talk username, and I'll apply that 3-day pass to your accounts. Thanks very much, guys, for watching. Hit the like button. Good luck on your bets, and we'll see everyone later. Take care.
Good luck, guys.